To answer your inevitable question, yes, I did hear the good news, yes, I'm looking forward to it, and yes, I'm looking forward to the rollback beta at the end of October. However, in the meantime, I do have a +R bracket that I'd like to talk to you about, because although this one was a little uneventful, the games that I did play were very interesting. So the first game against JasonRiot here, honestly, I don't know why I got matched up against JasonRiot first game. I think the only reason that I was against him was because my first round opponent was not in the bracket, rather he didn't show up on time, so I got floated forward as though I had won, which I might not have if the guy had been there. So yeah, we only had about 10 people in the bracket, so I think getting that float put me into the top 8. You know, top 8 of a 10-man bracket that's free and doesn't really mean anything, but you know. Anyway, I'm not going to pretend like I beat Jason, but it went a little better this time than last time, and I can talk about that for a bit. So my goal here is basically just to try throwing items and stuff and trying not to get completely destroyed. I thought he was going to do something a little more aggressive with that burst, or with that combo, so that's why I bursted. And he actually drops combos here a little bit. And I don't know why I don't go for the safe jump there. I instant block Bandit Bringer, and I try to punish, but he's a little too far away for that to combo properly. And I think he can smell blood, so he just does dash up wild throw there. And he tries it again, but I at least managed to stuff him out of that with a far slash. Yeah, this is something I mentioned in the previous video that I was trying to do a lot, and I screw it up again here. I try to do the 6ph throw option select, and I screw it up actually. I do it too early, and I do the H button first, so it wouldn't have worked even if he hadn't done the safe jump. But anyway, I get grabbed. I take about 1,000,000 damage in Sidewinders. And that is something that I'm actually kind of annoyed about, because I think the game might have gone differently if I'd been more cognizant of that, or if my inputs had been cleaner. Because I got a 2H counter hit, and I was trying to combo into Scalpel Thrust, which does combo if 2H counter hits. Unfortunately, unfortunately my input was messy, so the move didn't even come out, so nothing happened. And that's like the one major opening I get, so it's actually like quite relevant against somebody like Jason. As you can see, he makes a mistake, he bursts, and we're back, and then he just runs over me. Spoilers, I also lose this one. I'm really happy with that 5p. That was a pretty good 5p. Yeah? Yeah. Again, I'm not used to... Well, one thing that Jason does a lot is that he spends meter on Gunflame FRC, like, really liberally. And I'm not used to that. I'm used to souls who will, more often than not, just save meter or just spend it on RCs or FRCs at different points. But in Jason's case, as soon as he builds the meter to FRC, he's trying to. And I actually get a little bit of pressure going here. A little too far away for that to work, and I'm just putting out... Again, that was a prime example. He did Gunflame FRC, I was doing 2k because I expected him to run at me, and the Gunflame FRC completely destroyed me and got him the round. Not too much to say here. Jason's backing off a little bit, and I somehow don't get absolutely mangled by Bandit Bringer there. And I start panicking and trying to do Slap Chop, which just loses to Bandit Revolver. And he's doing these extremely fancy Sidewinder combos. My gosh. Soul's pretty cool in this game, huh? And then he gets me with Bandit Bringer. Doesn't combo off of it, unfortunately, but I'm panicking, I'm mashing, and he just does Gunflame FRC again and takes the round. So after that steamrolling performance, I have to wait a small eternity before I'm actually allowed to play against anyone. And when I do get matched up against my next opponent, it's ABBA. I don't know exactly how many matches ExoticJamm has played. I saw him do stuff earlier and he seemed like he was pretty good. But really, that doesn't mean a lot when you play ABBA, because every ABBA player just does the same combo and the same block string, and has the same game plan. Donzai is a hell of a special move. It went through the arm, went through my Pogo S there, and now he's doing the ABBA combo. I think this is a slightly higher damage version of it. Most of the time when I play against random net play ABBAs, they don't use the special move with the orbs like that. This guy's also really, really upfront about using the unblockable. The overhead, or the flip kick that ABBA does there might look like it's an overhead, but it's actually just completely unblockable. So, you know, you have to be, you can't just block it and expect pressure to end, you have to do something. Roust can actually do 5D through it if ABBA's doing it raw, I believe. It doesn't have many active frames, but again, I'm not even aware of it, like I'm not even cognizant of it. I know that it's an unblockable academically, I know that that's what it is, and that's how it works, but I'm not expecting him to do it in these situations, so I'm not reacting to it or anything like that. And he slides underneath my dive kick there, very good on his part. And normally, that's what happens. Normally, when ABBA is trying to set up this unblockable, because she's like a super interesting character, guys. She has an unblockable that is practical and can be guaranteed. She'll set up that projectile, which I'm currently blocking, and then she'll do this. It was a little messy here, but I'm not sure exactly how that move works with air blocking, so I just decided to try and spin my burst, but apparently, when she whiffs it, she's really low to the ground, so my burst whiffs completely, and I just die. I was slightly rattled after playing that game, because I feel like I have a pretty good handle on the ABBA matchup, and to get run over like that was a little bit annoying, because I'd had to wait a small eternity to play this guy. So this time I say to myself, look, just don't do anything stupid, just actually try to play the neutral, don't feel like you have to make decisions all the time, don't feel pressured, just play the item game and let the items win neutral for you. I tried to combo into knockdown there, I got a sick air throw. And that's something that I wasn't used to in this matchup. I sort of autopiloted here. So ABBA's Moroha gauge, which is the red bar at the bottom right, the way that works is when she's in Moroha mode, she's losing life with every attack and over time, and the mode itself is limited by that red gauge, which goes down over time. And every time she gets knocked down, which means every time she recovers from a knockdown, then she loses about a third of the gauge. Now, because the gauge is removed when she actually gets up, because of things like OTGs and OTG burst and other things, they wanted to make sure that she only lost the meter for actually getting knocked down, and that's just how they chose to implement it. That means that if you do an OTG combo, like I'm about to do, so I get this counter hit with the pogo flower, or the head flower, and then I do the ground flower here. The unfortunate thing is that ABBA is a lightweight, which means that it's harder for her to, or harder for Faust to knock her up off the ground with the ground flower, and then do going my way, and still get the knockdown. I think she's a lightweight anyway. I'm not 100% sure, but generally smaller characters like her are lightweights. And I haven't actually looked at the data, so that's what I was thinking. And then as I was doing this combo, I realized, oh, I'm kind of screwing this up. Oh, but that's fine. I'll just delay going my way, and then that will make her lower to the ground, which means I should get the knockdown. The problem here is that I actually OTG with going my way, and you can see it was a black beat combo, so she actually could have teched out. And this means that I get punished, and I could have RC'd there. I think yeah, you can see the FRC PKS input in my input history. So I did try to go for the FRC there, but I was off on the timing because hit stop makes a big difference as to when the timing actually occurs. So he gets I think that's a regular throw. Yeah, that's a regular throw, and then he gets a combo off of it because he's in Moroha mode. Tries to go for something a little advanced, doesn't quite work on me. I just decide to get out of there, waste a bit of time. Force break door probably wasn't a very good idea anyway, and he activates Goku Moroha from across the screen. I get a little bit cheeky. Again, this is the kind of thing that makes me lose games when I play against these rushdown characters where Faust is favored. I feel like I can't ever let them do anything because I left ABBA alone for like, what, 4 seconds? Maybe 3 seconds? and she went into Goku Moroha mode, and that's like, okay, you're the best character in the game now, and if you hit me, I'm going to die, period. So I was kind of feeling annoyed, or not annoyed, I was feeling rattled, I guess, that things had gotten this far out of control. Because if I had known she was going to do Goku Moroha, then I could have at least thrown an item, but I was so scared that I was just not doing anything, even though I was on the other side of the screen. Even though I was on the other side of the screen. There, clear. So I go in, and contrary to what it might look like, the hitbox and hurtbox for the air pogo are very low. Like, the hitbox is the scalpel, and it's about the width of Faust's body, but the hurtbox also covers up, also overlaps with that. So you can anti-air this move if you make contact with it. It's just that normally it's so fast, it just goes through people's attacks. Unfortunately, it seems like ExoticJamm knew what I was trying to do and started buffering. Well, not started buffering. He did 2S and it counter hit me. And I think at this point I have to make the decision, do I want to burst or not? And I decide not to burst because the combo is just so big. I somehow managed to get a dead angle out. He bursts. I don't know why the hell he bursted. I sincerely have no idea why he bursted this. Maybe he thought he had less Moroha meter than he actually did. Because if he'd been out of Moroha meter, or if that, if the knockdown had removed all of it, he would have gone into the oh shit pose. I think that's actually what it's called. It's, you know, Abba sort of leans over and the key, whose name is Paracelsus, by the way, sort of sighs and goes, oh shit. And I would have been able to kill her trivially, but you can OTG burst as Abba to deny that. I really don't know why he did it. I really sincerely have no idea. Anyway, so I just think, well, whatever, and I do 2D, and he gives me his burst and the round, which was very, very good for me. This was a huge momentum swing in the set. Also, the reason why Abba's life gauge is so inconsistent, I guess, is that she as I said, she loses health when she's in Moroha mode and when she's attacking. But when she goes out of it, depending on which option she uses to go out of it, she gets most of the health, or she gets most of the health back. I think the numbers are like 30% and like 75%, depending on which. I forget. I gold burst there, and he doesn't punish it like a ton. Just trying to do a block string here, establish the items. Again, I am betting a little bit harder than I probably should. And that's another thing about Abba. So I go for the knockdown here, and I restrain myself from doing something more advanced. I don't want to give him the chance to air tech or screw it up, so I just say, knockdown, take away a third of your Moroha gauge, etc. Now, because I was close to him, I was expecting him to mash throw, and indeed he does actually mash throw, but because Abba's wake-up timing is actually very, very slow, it's like, I don't know exactly what the frame data is, but it feels much slower than a lot of other characters. I swear it's at least like 10 frames or 15 frames slower. I mistime my dive kick, and that means instead of killing him and counter-hitting him for throwing, I get thrown out of the landing recovery. And he gets a combo off of this, and he doesn't quite finish it. I guess he was worried about something else. Force Break Door continues to let me down. Force Break Door continues to let me down. Although maybe I'm just being really bad about it. That's probably it. All of that was pure skill. And I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. But I did actually mean to do this. So I throw the item here, and I do 2D, and I see, oh, it's a bomb. Well, if this bomb hits him, he's going to die. So I want to do something that encourages him to get hit. So I go up here, and I do close range 6H. And I was thinking, well, he might be worried about the bomb, whatever. If he gets hit, I win the round, right? And even if the bomb blows me up, he's going to be in block stun, which means he probably won't get a combo. Perhaps not the greatest decision that Faust players have ever undertaken, but I think it was pretty good. He sees one step ahead of me and goes into Goku Moroha activation. Thing about Goku Moroha activation is that it's completely invincible and plus on block. And the hitbox is actually this gigantic circle around her. It's not the red circle that's appearing here. It's a sort of oval shape that goes very far in front of her and very far behind her. Honestly, I encourage you to look it up on Dustloop. It looks like a joke, but it's real. And it's plus. And it's invincible. You can see me whiffing 6H through her. So I get hit by that, and it staggers because it's a counter hit, but the invuln is not enough for her to go all the way through 6H, I guess. And that means that she gets hit, and then the bomb blows up, and it blows up both of us, but it kills her, which is the important thing. So in a very Faust fashion, I take game 2. At this point, I was sweating bullets, and I was kind of nervous because I really don't know if this guy's good or not, because he's doing an advanced combo, which I would, or something that looks like an advanced combo, which I would like to say is, you know, good, but I really don't know enough about ABBA to say whether or not doing that is purely enough to make you a good player, because he's made a couple of poor decisions, like that OTG burst that gave me the round for free. When I said Danzai earlier was a hell of a special move, this is Danzai. If you don't know what Danzai is, then get used to it, because every ABBA player on the face of the earth will do it constantly. It's basically a giant 2-hit uppercut. It's armored. It's in... I forget exactly what the rules are, because it's slightly different in Moroha and Goku Moroha, but I believe in normal Moroha, it's armored frame 1 during the upswing for 1 hit, and then it's not armored during the downswing. Anyway, it's only like -8 or -9, which makes it functionally safe in a lot of cases, a lot of situations. As you can see here, I was FDing it, so it's probably only like -5 or 6, and I'm getting pushed out all the way here, which means basically that it's not going to be a punish. That said, I still want to take my turn after, so I push Far Slash, which counter hits him out of whatever he was doing, and gives me an item, and then that gives me Pogo or Scalpel, another item, etc. You can see I'm playing so scared. I'm literally just backing up because I'm not even trying to play the item game at this point, which is a problem because the item game is good. That's how I win. And instead, I'm just very, very fearful of how this guy is playing, because ABBA moves so fast when she's in Goku Moroha mode. Sorry, Moroha mode. I desperately try to get out, and again, here, he didn't set up that unblockable. I'm pretty sure Faust can just 5D through that and just avoid it completely and punish it. But I'm so used to ABBA's playing by the book and just only doing the easy bake automatic set play that he does the unblockable a lot, and it just gets me, you know? I decide to mash there, and somehow I don't absolutely die for it. And I think this combo does kill me. Yeah, also Danzai is a combo tool, and he still had Guts Crush after that, so there you go. I decide to hold on to my burst, and that's that for that round. I try to go for the delayed Gatling 2P2S, but I screw it up. Now, you'll notice something. Two things happen there. Because, as I said earlier, she only loses the chunk of Moroha gauge when she gets up from a knockdown. But the bomb OTGs her here. So she actually wouldn't lose the chunk of the gauge because the bomb is taking her from the on-the-ground state to the airborne hit-stun state, and she's not going over the gap between them or the threshold between them that triggers the loss of the Moroha gauge. However, this guy misses his tech, and so he gets put onto the ground again, so he takes the additional damage from the bomb, and then he stands up and he loses the chunk of the Moroha gauge. And here's something really funny. He does Danzai full screen because, hey, why not, right? And for once in my life, Faust's Hurtbox doesn't actually screw me over, because I do 6H canceled into Scalpel Thrust, and I actually managed to go around Danzai and then hit him once the armor's worn off, and I get this combo, which gives me a chunk of meter, positioning, and time to throw an item. Except I screw up the item throw because I'm bad, and I get the bomb bag instead. Anyway, that was the oh shit pose that ABBA does. I got basically the best punish you could on this, which is 6H into Pogo. Technically, you can also instant kill her, and Faust can instant kill her too. Even though Faust's instant kill is not actually very good, it will hit ABBA. I'm not sure if I had time to set it up, though. Anyway, I take the round, final game, final round, it's all good. Mini Potemkin comes out, because he's been really nice to me. Well, he will be really nice to me, or he would be if he stayed on screen, but he has other places to be. I get a bit too cheeky throwing items, and he punishes with a Rekka, so now I'm in potentially losing the game territory. I delay my dive kick that time, and it actually works, because he was doing something, not blocking. And I force the burst out of him, which is really nice, because that means the next time I knock him down, it'll put him into the oh shit pose. You can't fuck with Donzai. Yeah, and I whiff my burst here. I get unblockable Raw, and he refreshes the Moroha gauge and Goku Moroha mode. And so my option here, assuming I don't just die, is how do I spend 100 meter? And he just unblockables me, combos off the unblockable, and that's the set. And that's my tournament life. So not too many games this week. It was only 5 total games, 2 total sets. But I wanted to highlight that 2 out of 3 I played with ExoticJamm, because I think if I'd played better, then I definitely could have beaten it. I definitely could have beaten him and overcome my troubles in the matchup. I do have to give credit to ExoticJamm. I don't know exactly how good he is or how long he's been playing ABBA, but he played in a style that I found very difficult to counter. And afterwards, we talked about it, and he thanked me for playing Faust, because apparently he had not played against Faust in tournament for a little while, so I guess I was helping him as much as he was helping me.